Well, the Phils lost. We're having a ton of technical difficulties, and I'm suffering from extreme existential dread. Here to talk me off a metaphorical cliff, and possibly a literal one, are your hosts, BM and Berg.
Hey, what's going
This
on?
is
What's up, guys?
this is episode 2 is our darkest episode yet. As we are going to pretend that we're live, so all the things we're talking about, you got to watch tomorrow morning and pretend that we're here and we're doing that. So, how you guys doing? Sorry that the Phils lost, but as a guy holding an under ticket, I'm not that upset.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
sorry
yeah.
you got to
Rub
watch
it,
it.
rub it in my face. Okay, yeah.
That was a
Um,
solid
I
game.
know.
Solid weather, good breeze.
we spent like 3 innings watching little kids hit wiffle balls in the smaller park and talking about how they would be better than Nick Castellanos at this point. So that's where we're at,
Oh man,
unfortunately.
was one of them his son?
Maybe he is
There's
there a lot.
a couple guys with a swing like his though. So a couple
Yeah, some
kids.
kids are in dingers.
But yeah,
Dude, that's not.
excited for this. At least we're getting it done.
All right,
Um,
Berg, lead
yeah,
lead
we'll do
us,
it.
our fearless leader. Take us to the promised land.
Let's do it, guys. This is episode 2 of the Bird and Berg Show, featuring Dan says that as the production lead. Look, let's just jump right into it because look, we can jump and Aaron Rodgers can't. So
Oh
it's an
man.
Achilles joke.
Wow,
All right. So first of all, whatever, we're live, right?
that's right.
So first of all, Dan, um, tell me what game are you most looking forward to this weekend, and what's been kind of on your mind? Quick reaction from last weekend. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
All right, well, last week I said the Birds, baby, and with the home opener tomorrow night and being in attendance, it's the Birds, baby. But for the sake of having a different and more interesting answer, I am very much looking forward to Kansas City and Jacksonville. Rematch of the divisional round matchup last year. Kansas City won 27-20. I think Jacksonville has made a lot of improvements. They looked pretty good in week one. Colts gave them a little bit of run. Our Colts, obviously, as everybody will know. But I think that with the injuries KC is dealing with, still not sure about Kelsey's status as of right now, and the way they kind of struggled with Detroit. I think Jacksonville has a better chance than they even did last year, which I thought was a very entertaining game. So I'm very interested in watching that, and it'll be nice early on, already in week 2, to have a full Sunday slate where I don't have to be tied up in an Eagles game, so I can sit there and enjoy my bets, enjoy my fantasy matchup, everything, even though nobody cares about your fantasy team, and really just enjoy a full Sunday of football. Nothing. As much as I love the Eagles, there's nothing better than a stress-free Sunday where I can enjoy and watch all the games and talk all my shit and not get upset about my team.
Dude, it's the best. Honestly, that's the best. I think it's the best to not have an Eagles game on Sunday. I mean, Birdman, like, what are you looking forward to? Do you agree? I mean, as another
Well, first I want
Birds
to know
fan,
who you're playing in
as a
the
literal
flex
Bird fan.
position. Ah, psych, nobody cares. Um, no, the theme was prepared defenses, right, and a lot of teams that didn't play in the preseason, or at least their starters, didn't really show up. A lot of low scoring games. I think it was one of the lower total amount of touchdowns scored in like the past decade. But I think we see some more scoring. This week the game I'm looking forward to is Packers Falcons. I think it's going to be extremely telling. It might not be overall the most exciting game from a scoring perspective, but I think it's going to be very telling to see if the Packers defense is for real, if they can stop the run, if the Falcons can do something, running the ball without just Ritter. We saw the pass catchers not really have a good game. It didn't really matter, but I think it's going to be really telling to see if these teams are kind of for real or not. So I'm
Ritter
pretty excited.
stinks, for the record. Ritter stinks.
I'm leaning towards that camp, but I'll talk about this game a little later.
Adam, what do you got? What are you looking forward
I
to?
have an opinion on it. So for me, so first of all, I'll kick it off with like a little bit of a trend, but not exactly. Well, look, I look forward to in week 2 actually seeing who's for real and who isn't. One of the things I look at is overreaction stuff, or like who's going to bounce back, who isn't. Um, Underdogs traditionally in week 2 that are playing faves that lost in week 1. Those underdogs cover like crazy, so that's kind of like a public perception that it's like a fake bounce back. So the Jags are one of them, and when those have lost, they're even better. They cover at way better rates. So the one that I am eyeing, I love to dig in garbage, as you guys know, and I am digging into the garbage in Arizona for the Cardinals home opener against the New York Football Giants, because I do believe that the New York Football Giants may be the worst team in the league, not the Cardinals. They're look, Giants are laying 6 points to the Arizona Cardinals, and and Mr. Dobbs. So let's see that. That I am looking forward to, because I want to see who for real is at the bottom of the league.
I have no problem
So
saying that a team where Daniel Jones is the quarterback is the worst team in football. I have no problem with that. So I think that's a great take.
Yeah, they came out today with Waller having that hamstring injury he had last week that he played through. It was the same one he had last year. Said it could be more of a nerve
gutted it
issue
out,
than
and that gutted it out for no points.
yeah,
What a
and,
hero.
and they said it could be more of a nerve issue than a hamstring. I mean, if he's out, the pass catchers aren't great.
Well, good. He's ahead of schedule because I figured that was a week 6, week 7 thing for him. So I'm glad he's just not even going to waste our time. He's just getting right to it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's Saquon or bust for them again, and yeah, I like that. You know, I think the Cardinals are showing some life. I mean, listen, teams tank, right? Players don't, so that's
Yep,
they should see
I
some
completely
effort.
agree. Especially
And I see if the Jaguars on
someone,
this list too.
especially.
So
I mean, look, especially Jags are on the list. Look, especially Josh Dobbs. Like, that dude's every year playing for a job. Like, I mean, he also was 1 quarter away from the Titans winning the AFC South last year, and we wouldn't even probably be talking about the Jags now. But like, look, my whole thing with that Giants team, and I've said it, is that last year they started out of the gate really hot. Vibes were high. Oh man, this is great. Like, we saved America and it's awesome, and Dable's the best. But yeah, that locker room's gonna have a very different attitude if they are 1-5 after week 6. And Saquon, who's on a 1-year deal, is gonna be like, you know what, Daniel Jones, you run the ball. So this will be really interesting. I think it's going to be. I think that obviously the Giants are also in a transition, so it's a little bit different. But this is not a Giants fan fiction podcast, as we all know. If anything, it is a Colts fan fiction podcast. So look, I think we should just get right into it. Around the horn. Let's get some bets out there for people. We were 3-6 overall last week. I did not pull my end. I was 0-3. So you are looking at 2 winners in front of you. Those are Dan and Birdman. I was not a winner.
I actually wasn't a winner either.
And if you don't like that,
Yeah, I went 1-2. Dan pulled the weight
really?
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
I mean, it was a little disappointing because Amari Cooper.
Well, you had a win. You had a win.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
did have a win.
Amari Cooper had a 20-yard catch, got hurt, came back in, couldn't get a 21 or 22-yard catch, whatever I put out in the show. DK Metcalf featured and then wasn't 13 yards short. So I like the looks, and I would bet him again. But new week, new opportunity. I'll start it off then, I guess, with Dalton Kincaid, Buffalo Bills tight end, over 29.5 receiving yards. You can get that -110 on Bet365, -115 MGM. He had 4 catches for 26 yards in week 1. Jets obviously a top 3, top 5 defense. He was really involved though in his first career game. They were calling plays for him. He ran a route on 80% of Josh Allen's dropbacks. After the game, McDermott talked about needing a second wide receiver to emerge. I don't know if he just doesn't believe in Gabe Davis, who caught multiple touchdowns in the playoffs that one run. But I think Dalton Kincaid might be the guy that emerges as a top target for them. He got open a good amount against the Jets, and last week the Raiders allowed 7 catches for 56 yards to Broncos tight ends. So I expect him to have more success in this one. What do you think,
Dan,
Berg?
what do you got? I mean, I think it.
You don't want to save the best for last? Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead.
No.
Keep my
Go
winning ways
do your
going.
one. Do it. Go.
All right. So I said the Jaguars and Chiefs was a game that I'm very much looking forward to. I think the Jaguars are going to have success against the Chiefs, and that leads me to my first play. Calvin Ridley over 69.5 receiving yards. It's -115. He had 8 for 101 and a touchdown on 11 targets in week 1. I kind of thought that Christian Kirk was going to be the guy early on until Ridley got into a rhythm with Trevor Lawrence, and I was wrong. Ridley came out the gate hot. I don't see any reason for that to stop. And if the Chiefs are going to put up points if Kelsey is back. Whether he is or not, I still think that Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things. So Jacksonville will throw. They will need to possibly be involved in a shootout. So I think there's a great chance for Calvin Ridley to duplicate his Week 1 numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised if this number is probably closer to the mid 70s by Sunday.
This is probably the last game as well that you're going to get him under 70, probably at all. So
yeah.
unless I can't think of many matchups, but yeah, he
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, anything on him under 75, I feel like is too low because like it just doesn't like he's especially against a defense like KC. So my first one, I went on the sides for these ones. Bengals by 3. I think they win by way more than that. I actually had talked about thinking that the Ravens were a look ahead of plus 3.5. By the way, I think the Bengals actually has gone to 3.5, but the Bengals were blown out by the Browns in a pretty ugly game, and the Ravens blew out the Texans in a game that they should have put away way earlier. But this is the Bengals home opener. We kind of always thought that they were going to lose to the Browns. They don't do well against the Browns traditionally. Joe Burrow hasn't done well against the Browns. I really like the Bengals here. I just think it's a good opportunity at home. And there's other angles that I've looked at for that game. Also like the under, but this to me is just frankly a better team. I just don't think that the Ravens looked like they are comfortable yet with this type of offense. I'm obviously it might get some getting used to, but Bengals by 3. Bengals to the moon for me all the time. So, Birdman, what's your next play?
Yeah, I do like the Bengals play. I do think they bounce back here. I'm gonna go with Broncos first half minus 2.5, minus 110 on Caesars. Last week they covered the 2.5 in the first half against the Raiders, and that's with an onside kick that failed out of the gate. They gave the Raiders some short fields. I do expect Peyton to have his team a bit more ready here against a subpar offense in Washington. The Raiders' offense did surprise me a bit last week. The defense wasn't too great for the Broncos in the passing game, but they were number 1 against the rush. I think if you're forcing Howell to pass a bunch in this game, that O-line's not going to hold up. The Cardinals had like a 16% sack percentage last week. Broncos didn't have the best pass rush against the Raiders, but I do expect that to improve. And to be honest, I think you're getting this under a field goal, and the actual line is 3.5. I think that they're gonna, not only win the first half, but I think they are up a sizable margin against this Howell team and kind of make more of a statement in this game. For what it's worth, if you include the preseason, Broncos are 4-0 ATS in the first half so far. So
speaking of digging in the trash, that was Adam's team last year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, talking about the first half, I love the Broncos this weekend. I mean, it's also you have essentially like the same house. It's essentially
it's your team, man.
Quarterback going. Yeah, they're traveling across the country to Denver to play after a game after they barely beat a Cardinals team. So I mean, I'll take the Broncos all day, and I will lose money on them all season, and just like I did last year.
Correct.
No, I think it's a good look. Dan, what do you got?
All right, my next play is actually going to be with the Thursday night game, but I'm going opposite the Eagles. I am taking Justin Jefferson over 7.5 receptions on DraftKings at plus 120. As everybody knows, he is arguably the best receiver in football. Cousins threw, I think, 44 times last week. They're going to throw again. The Eagles are likely without Reed Blankenship and James Bradbury, who's in concussion protocol. Reed Blankenship, I believe it's a rib injury. There's the potential to miss Fletcher Cox. There's the Nakobe Dean's going to be out, so the defense is super shorthanded. I think the Eagles are going to have to play a lot of zone, and Justin Jefferson will absolutely eat them alive in that zone. I do think there will be a concerted effort to try and limit him, as every team does. So I don't know if I'm going to go necessarily crazy on touchdowns or yards or anything, but he's going to get his touches. He's going to get the catches. So I think that getting that at plus money honestly feels really good to me.
Yeah, this is one of those
Go
ahead, Berg.
I'll just say, I like the plus money angle on him. Slay should be on him, but Slay's going to probably have to be whoever's hot because they're going to have to put Slay on. I know Slay held him last time, but there's no one else out there.
And that's the thing. It's
that can do
harder.
anything.
It's harder to. It's easier to free him up when you don't have Bradbury opposite him. The reason that they could keep Slay on him last time was
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the Vikings weren't just going to move him over to Bradbury. It wasn't any better of a matchup. So even if you want Slay to stay on him, there's going to be ways to move Jefferson away from him. And again, because of having a undrafted rookie at the other corner spot, because I believe Josh Jobe is going to be the other guy, I think that's going to lead them to not be able to play man as much, which means that you will not be able to just have Slay watch him necessarily.
Yeah, Jefferson's line's always super high too, in like the 90s. Like he could have 11 to 13 targets, catch 8 or 9 balls for like 85 to 90, which would actually go under, but you know your bet would hit there. I do like that. Berg, what's your second one?
My second one is, we talked about it a little bit, but it's the Jags plus whatever. Like I don't know if it's plus 3 right now or plus 3.5. Like it's whatever their spread is. Take it. Look, this. If you don't think that this Jags team has had this game circled on their calendar all offseason. I mean, they lost in the divisional to Patrick Mahomes and his Toradol shot that he took at halftime, and so that he could play. Look, I understand Andy Reid extra time to prepare. Andy Reid versus Dog. Lock this up. Jags to the moon this weekend. Jags plus 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I think it fits your fake bounce back trend as well. Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm definitely a little concerned about the O-line with Chris Jones back. Was hoping either him or Travis Kelce would be out, but either way, they're going to be ruled in, and then you get a better line. So I'm there with you.
I see Jags plus 3.5 now. If you like the little hook there.
Yeah, that they saw the video of
Good.
Kelce
Eat
jumping around and like hugging Chris Jones in practice. So that was enough for a half a point jump. With my second pick or my third pick, so I'll tell you this: I do not get the infatuation with the Packers this week from the public. Getting all types of bets. I know their offense looks solid.
You mean the love? It's the love.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Opportunity for a pun.
No pun.
Yes, pun intended.
Pun intended from you, not from me. No love. It was against a Bears team that was completely out of sorts. In the first half, with a Ritter-led team, you don't want to be passing all the time, and they passed at a higher rate than they ran the ball in the first half. I don't know if they were trying to get him comfortable or what. I do expect more of a run-heavy first game plan here. They should be able to run against Green Bay, who over the years is notorious for being a bad run D, even with good corners. Atlanta rushed for 5 yards per rush last week. That was 4th in the league. Green Bay was 22nd, allowing 4.2 yards per rush. Falcons have a way better line than the Bears. Defense played pretty solid for the Falcons. They were mixing in a lot of new pieces that they got in the offseason. Love had the most off-target throws out of all quarterbacks, and was 0 for 2 passing downfield.
That's a stat, baby.
I mean, that's part of the reason why, oddly enough, even though Justin Fields wasn't great, PFF ranked Justin Fields higher than Jordan Love in that game, even though he looked pretty solid, which I don't take it for a grain of salt for PFF rankings. But, Aaron Jones still banged up. He could be, if he plays, he'll be limited. Watson, still questionable. If neither of those guys go, this offense is way less dynamic than what we saw last week. So, for me, it's Falcons money line. You can get the plus 105 MGM. DM?
I think, first of all, this is some good stats that you had there. It's also, I think, real important for folks to know that the look ahead on this was the Falcons at least 1.5, 2 point.
Something like that. Yeah.
Favorites. This flipped.
They're getting like 80% of the bets.
And this is definitely one of the.
This is overreaction week 2.
Is it sheet play? No, it was. I get it, dude. I get it. And also that, I'm glad you pointed it out, because I think one of the big ones was like he was not good on downfield throws. He had a very safe play calling that he had for it, which and it was also against a Bears team that does not have a Bears defense that we're used to.
Yeah, they played with the lead the whole game. Aaron Jones broke like a 50-yard touchdown run when it was only like 17-6. It's not like they they blew him out, but it wasn't the typical like a Cowboys Giants Sunday night 40-0.
Yeah.
Not many.
No. They didn't step on their throat. It wasn't like that.
That's true, DM. What do you got, D?
All right, my last play. I'm going back to the Falcons. Well, I know we ran it dry last week, and that's mainly on me. But I'm going opposite my
And
thoughts
me.
last week.
I
And
had Drake London.
I'm going with Tyler Algier to score. He is plus 210 for an anytime touchdown on DraftKings, which is definitely the best number I've seen so far. As only a couple of books have lines out right now, but he had 4 red zone carries last week to Bijan's 1. He had 2 touchdowns. Bijan did have 2 receptions in the red zone, so he was definitely getting looked at. But for what I saw of that game, it looked that there were a lot of times where they were using Bijan. They spread him out. They were putting him in motion, kind of using him as the decoy to use their run game, and Algier was the guy benefiting from that and scoring at the goal line. So I think getting him at more than 2-1 is kind of crazy to me.
He's no slouch body wise. Like Algier, like he's a
Yeah, can we talk about that real quick? Because I'm really tired of everybody calling Rashad Penny a goal line back when he's not, and everybody just thinking that a guy that like isn't getting first down carries is somehow a goal line back. That's not how it works.
No.
Algier is definitely the type of guy that you do run at the goal line. I'm tired of like backup running backs and running backs that aren't that good being called goal line backs because you don't know what else to call them.
Right.
Nope, I agree. He's like the other thing with him is just like, I mean, look, you guys also know, like obviously I'm a big fan of Bijan as a catcher, but like, yeah, Algier like has the body to like move between the tackles and stuff like that. Like I actually expect him consistently, like you said, to be their guy over in that space because
yeah, he ran well. Like he runs strong. He really does.
Like everyone's been thinking it's going to be Bijan, and he runs great. He runs really strong.
Yeah, you guys heard my thoughts. I think they run all over him. What do you got for your third play, Berg?
So my third play, I got the this is part of my trend. This is a dog who lost last week playing a favorite who lost last week. By the way, these teams cover at 65%, but that's not the only reason I'm taking it. But I'm taking the Titans. I believe it's actually down to 2.5, but I actually like the Titans on the money line. Before the show, I saw it was Titans +3. I saw it at Caesars for an even money, but I don't know how the Chargers are going to look when they're not able to play with the pace that they were able to play last week, because part of the reason why they were able to get into like a shootout fight, and they're built for that because of Kellen Moore, is because the Dolphins are also built to do that. And that's not how the Titans are built. So there's going to probably be a lot of time that Justin Herbert's not on the field because they're going to be perfectly happy doing 5-yard carries from Henry and just kind of, maybe like a jet sweep with, Trayvon Burks, or maybe doing some like inside stuff with Nuke, but D-Hop. I don't know. People used to call him Nuke. I still call him Nuke, but the reality is like, I don't think that the Chargers can do this. That Bosa also missed practice today. So that ship has already started. But like I know you don't like the Titans at all. I like the Titans should have won that game. Inexplicably, I do appreciate the fact that that Vrabel down 4 kicked a field goal so that they could cover and not win because I middled. But I do like the Titans here this weekend against the Chargers.
It was a gritty cover. I'm a little disappointed that when you talked about what the Titans can do, you didn't mention your guy Tajay Spears. But
he doesn't need any other things. But he's the man.
Eckler's banged up as well. He's questionable this week.
Yeah,
you don't.
They
know
just elevated a dude from practice squad
Yeah.
too. I don't think he's playing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a very pass-heavy game script from Herbert. Maybe they have success. They're still working in that new system. I think eventually this season we'll see them take a step with Kellen Moore, but out of the gate against this defense, Vrabel's prepared. Him as a dog is always good. They're home, so yeah, I can't say too much about it negatively.
And you hate that team. And you hate that team.
I do hate the Titans. Their O-line does suck, but
I hate them too for what it's worth.
Oh, they were terrible, dude.
But I get it.
Dude, Tannehill had 3 picks. Like, he was horrible. I mean, there's no reason to like that, but you guys know me. I love digging.
Yep. You're like a feral cat.
That brings us to the best segment in all of podcasting.
Wait, there's a bonus play here. Adam doesn't want to give a bonus.
I do have a bonus. I do have a bonus play, but we'll move the.
Well, at this point, just tell us your bonus play
because it's about Thursday. We'll move it to there. So I think that the people Well, no, because it's got a narrative behind it. So like, I'll tell it.
Okay, yeah. We'll talk
We'll
about
get
it
to
when we do the
good stuff.
SGP then. But now we get the
Yeah,
best
yeah, yeah.
segment in all of podcasting. Looking for sponsors.
Agreed.
It's in your DMs.
Thank you. Making sure that you can't talk over me and go. So there's been a lot of discussion this week from upset sports fans, the Phillies, about people chanting about other sports teams at your little game. And I am a staunch defender of the city of Philadelphia and its fan base. And this is SAWFT soft. Oh my God, they're doing Eagles chants at the Phillies game. Wow, woe is me. I hate to break it to you, but everybody knows that this is an Eagles city. It's Eagles 1, Phillies 2, and whatever other garbage you want to call 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, I don't care, Sixers fans, Flyers fans, Union fans. You know that this is the truth. It's the Eagles, the Phillies, and everybody else. So if people at a Phillies game want to start doing Eagles chants, stop crying about it. The only reason you're upset about it is because the Phillies stink right now, which tonight was the example of. And the only time people do this is when the Phillies stink because they're trying to cope. Let people cope how they need to. You're mad the team is not performing, not that people are chanting about it. And if the Phillies were up 8-1, you wouldn't be crying about it. So figure out your priorities, look inward, and figure out what you're really upset about.
Yeah, when I'm at games, I just like to talk shit to the mascots. Nothing else. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely agree with you there, Dan.
Oh,
I think
and another thing.
I wonder if people
proposals are bad and the
that
wave
Flyers
is
are
bad.
coming back.
Proposals are bad.
Proposals are bad and waves are bad.
Wait,
you're welcome, Mark.
Proposals are really bad at a game. If you're proposing to someone, at a sports game, you have no creativity whatsoever.
Unless you
what
run
about,
on the field or
beer
something.
snakes? What about beer snakes? What about?
I'm down. If there's beer involved, I'm down.
Cups, like
you already know that.
You're down with that? Okay.
Nice.
Let people have fun.
Statement.
Let people have fun.
All right, we are ready to get into Thursday night. I mean, look, let's actually we have an SGP that we're going to put together. Let's kind of go around because we're obviously all Eagles fans, so we're all big homers. Let's kind of go around Birdman. Give me a quick overview before we all say a play that we want to have for this SGP for this. Why don't you tell me how you think that the game's going to go tomorrow and give me a final score prediction?
Okay, first off, this is normally when we do our anytime touchdown parlay. A lot of odds aren't out.
Yes.
So we're able to, with Dan going to the game and stuff, we are able to pivot to an SGP for the Thursday night game. Got to keep it light and fun for the people at home. I actually think the Vikings are going to hold their own. I still think the Eagles win. I think they'll offensively, I think we're going to have success. I mean, Baker Mayfield did pretty well last week, decently. My score prediction, what did I say earlier, Dan? 27-23 Eagles is my prediction. I think it's a little bit back and forth here and there. I think Kirk Cousins in primetime kind of shows up decently. I don't think he has a perfect game or anything close to it, but I think he does well enough where people at least give him a little respect.
Dan?
I believe I had said 30-23.
Boots on the ground?
I think I'm probably going to move that to 30-27. It's probably a field goal game. I am worried it's closer than I want it to be. I do think the Eagles win. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a massive bounce back game, but the injuries on the defense really concern me. So I think the Vikings are going to put up points. And I don't. Are we giving the leg of the parlay with this too?
No, I get.
Okay. Well, no. So I am probably I'm a little bit more confident in the Eagles than I think than you guys. And I got a final score prediction of 31-21. Vikings, by the way, are going to probably be without their starting center. And the last time that happened, the Giants ran all over them in the playoffs. That was not fun.
If you saw Jalen Carter highlights, they could have two centers for all I care.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladder his sacks.
Dude, Jalen Carter's odds. His odds for defensive rookie
3-1
after last game. He's the freaking truth. Him and Jordan Davis together 3-1 now.
3-1.
That was the
crazy.
only short bet that I loved.
Yeah, I'm a little angry I didn't take that one.
No,
I
I
just
think
took
that
Will Anderson.
I think that I think the Eagles smash them.
Let's go.
So
And like
so
my
so
bonus play that was
you're
tied to that
31.
was 31-21.
Yeah, but you're 31-21 if you think they smash them. It's like 31 to like 13 or
I was
14, and then they.
fine, 31-17.
No. I'm saying it can still be a 10-point game, but like
I guess he's
there's
just
let's
asking,
give
do
him
they
that.
get
Like,
up and then there's garbage points or?
like a 31 to 13,
Yeah.
and then they score and go for 2 with like 2 minutes left to make a 31-21 type of thing.
Actually, let me change it then. 31-13. There, done.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Don't let me influence you.
Like let's do that. You bullied me into it. No, because actually I got a reason why I like that. So first of all, my bonus play that I like for all this for tomorrow, this is not part of the SGP, but what I like is Sirianni has been very, very open about getting DeAndre Swift the ball. DeAndre Swift went to St. Joe's prep. He's going to have family at this game. It's his Dan tweeted out that he had his touchdown when it was at a solid price in the twos. That price is no longer available. But what I love is DeAndre Swift either first quarter touchdown at 7-1, which he did twice last year, or DeAndre Swift at first half touchdown at plus 360. He's not the guy that they're going to give the rock to him early and make the crowd go nuts and take any sort of Vikings air out of stuff. Again, there's narrative in this. He's also done it before. It's a really fun way to get better odds on his touchdown. He's also he probably is going to be hurt by the third quarter. Let's be honest. So it's better to bet.
Let's hope not.
To do this in that first half. So I like that.
Oh, perfect.
7-1.
Is this where we get to talk about how sharp
touchdown.
we are and the numbers we got, so I can victory lap my DeAndre Swift first touchdown plus 1,400 and DeAndre Swift anytime plus 270?
CLV.
Before Sam 8 hours later says, I'm taking it at plus 190 because some other guy said so.
Yeah, well, basically.
Loser.
So anyway, that was my bonus play. But as we were looking at, it's funny because now I'm looking at like what we picked for this. But Birdman, do you want to kick us off of what we have for this SGP, and maybe you can build it too, so we can kind of.
I have it. I do have it already built because I'm prepared.
Okay, cool.
Sick flex, bro.
No, I'm just messing. But on FanDuel, they do have the no sweat parlay. It's the max that you can bet on it varies, but 3 legs, no sweat. If you lose, it becomes a bonus bet. So yeah, I got the parlay up here. I'll start off. I like Dallas Goedert, 50 plus yards. That leg's like even money. He didn't do well last game at all. The passing offense was garbage. It was a torrential downpour. The Vikings, their defense is not really that great, especially in the center of the field. They're mixing in new pieces with Flores. For Goddard, 50 yards is like his average for the entire year last year. He had 80 plus, I forget the exact number, 80 plus in this matchup last year. I think they make it a point to get him the ball early and often. 50 plus yards seems like a good bet to me. How about you, Dan? What's your leg?
Dan.
All right, so even though it seems like we are all on the Eagles to win, we do have 2 of the 3 of these being Vikings props. Which I guess if I can quickly address that, one of the things I've been stressing for this game is Eagles fans are basically like yelling at each other. Oh, I think AJ's going to score. Oh, I think Devontae's going to score. Listen, you're flipping a coin between 2 great receivers on a team that only threw 25 passing touchdowns all of last year, and these guys are both priced as number 1 options. I think AJ's like not even money. I think he's like minus 110 most places, something around that number. Devontae, you're probably getting like plus 130, plus 140. Listen, either of them could score, but it's also about getting a number that works, which is the reason that like we're all not sitting here picking every Eagles skill player to score a touchdown for something like this. So, with that said, I really like Hawkinson to score an anytime touchdown. He is plus 210. I've already mentioned the Eagles' secondary and defensive issues. Even with Nakobe Dean healthy, I was very unimpressed with the linebacker play last week. We saw, Hunter Henry pick us apart. Mac Jones and Hunter Henry just absolutely dicing us up. So if that's last week, then I'm a little bit scared of what Cousins and Hawkinson can do. So I would expect him to score.
Fun fact: Hunter Henry had the most receiving yards for all tight ends in the entire league last year at 56, or last week with 56.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Are you
So,
serious? That's terrifying.
one, that's a low number for tight ends, but
True.
no Andrews,
That's
no
Andrews and
Kelsey.
Kelsey out.
But still, that I like it. I mean, it's tight end
Still.
central. We don't. Our linebackers are booty cheeks.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What do you got, Berg?
So I'm back in a Viking in this SGP. Jordan specifically about Reed Blankenship not being there. I think that there's going to be a lot of use within the middle of the field, and I'm banking obviously on like if Slay takes out JJ for at least slot, the for me it's just about it's not even like his receptions. I just think he's going to be able to move pretty freely, so he could have like 3 for 60 or something like that, or 2 for 55. Like I just feel like he's going to be able to get those yardage in the middle of the field because that's where we're at our weakest. So Jordan Addison, 50 plus.
All right, so we have 3 legs.
Receiving yards is my
3 legs. Hawkinson touchdown, Jordan Addison 50 plus yards, Dallas Goedert 50 plus yards. $10 wins 116 plus 11 to 1.
10 to 1.
It's not bad.
11 to 1, not at all, not bad at all.
10 to 1 odds. Nice.
I'm going to use that for the no sweat on FanDuel for Thursday night. This will be posted to social media as well after the show. Speaking of posting parlays on social media, this week we don't have a people's parlay for the show.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you want to do our bombs? Let's do our bombs first for this game.
Finish your thought, BM.
Yeah,
let's go out on the bombs.
Yeah, I mean, just basically don't have a people's parlay for the show today. One, we didn't have time to ask people as far as props being available and people being able to give us what they want for it. Moving forward, we are just going to do it through social media. A lot of times when we have the screenshot up there, it doesn't look as well on the screen as well. So we're going to do it on social media. Keep it simple. Ask for your submissions, and then potentially we'll shout out the contributors if it does hit, both on social media and on the show. So, Berg, you can get us started with the bomb, with your bomb.
Yeah. Sorry, like the thing got a little choppy, so I didn't hear. But like so anyway, so I put together a bomb. Like, in the rules were that I declared later this afternoon, we're just make it at least make it at least like 50 to some one odds. But DeAndre's first half touchdown. Dallas Goedert 70 plus yards. He had 83 last time they played. TJ Hawkinson 80 plus yards. He had 100 multiple times last year. 60 to 1 on 60 to 1 on FanDuel. If you do Hawkinson to have 100 yards, which he did a couple times last year, it moves up to 78 to 1. So that is where the sprinkle of le bonus bet for me, because look, it could be dead in the first half if Swift doesn't score a touchdown. But that's my bomb that I love. I was thinking for a little bit. I did have originally, just so you know, I had like Rashad Penny first touchdown, Boston Scott last touchdown as like a mop up duty thing, and it was like 111 to 1. I was like, this is too crazy. This is too nuts.
Yeah, so I don't have like a bomb SGP, but I do have two type of higher odds plays that I think are viable in this one. KJ Osborne to score is like plus 370 on FanDuel. He had a decent amount of red zone targets last year. He had a couple in week 1. Cousins didn't convert to him. I think he got pressured and it was a low pass. I like that. And I know on Bet365, not sure of other books, but they do have Hawkinson alternate receptions. So earlier in the week, I took 7 plus receptions and 8 plus receptions for like plus 350 and plus 700, something along those lines. So those would be my higher odds bombs, I guess, of the week.
That was good.
All right, let me paint you a picture here. The link is rocking. Everybody's talking about how Kirk Cousins can't come through in prime time. Everybody's talking about how the Eagles are on a revenge tour for failing to win the Super Bowl last year. And Kirk Cousins comes out first play, Justin Jefferson, 75 yards, deflates the stadium. Everybody's throwing up, cursing, fighting. Vikings up 7-0. Game continues to progress. Tough game, ugly game. Shootout. Jalen Hurts starts showing his magic in the second half. They changed their ways from the first and second quarter team of the past 19, 20 games. They come out at halftime. They retake the lead. And then once again, Kirk Cousins leads the Vikings back. And here we are in the fourth quarter. It's 23-20. Eagles trail. Hope is dwindling. And who else but our guy Jalen Hurts breaks a 35-yard run, stunts on him in the end zone, does the stupid little gritty thing I'm not even going to pretend to try. Eagles take the lead. Building erupts. Honestly, pieces of it start collapsing. There's a national emergency. Fans are ravenous. They storm the surrounding area as Jalen Hurts scores the game-winning touchdown. So to cut to the point, my play is Justin Jefferson first touchdown, Jalen Hurts last touchdown. This is 101-1.
I love it. I think I-95 would go down in that case as well.
Bravo.
That sounds like a pretty solid game script.
I like it. Awesome. All right. This is we had some fun with this one, guys. So
we'll let DM do a little quick recap
Dan,
here.
do you want to recap?
Yeah, so we'll go through our best bets here. So my plays for the week, again, last week I went 2-1. This week I have Calvin Ridley over 69.5 receiving yards, Justin Jefferson over 7.5 receptions, and Tyler Algier anytime touchdown plus 210. That's on DraftKings specifically. Birdman's plays for the week were Dalton Kincaid over 29.5 receiving yards. That's on Bet 365 or MGM. The Falcons money line at plus 105, and the Broncos first half spread minus 2.5, minus 110. He went 1-2 last week, and Berg with the 0 for last week, 0 for 3, looking to bounce back. Has the Bengals minus 3, the Jags plus 3 or whatever, the Titans plus 3, and then the bonus play of DeAndre Swift, first quarter touchdown at plus 700 or first half touchdown at plus 360.
Sounds like a bounce back week. Listen, everyone who was watching week 1, they're overreacted. They overreacted to the tough week for us out of the gate. So we're going to come back with a vengeance here in week 2. With adversity of some technical difficulties, and we're going to crush. I'm really liking what we got here this week. Excited for a week 2. I think we see some more scoring across the board and a bunch of W's.
All right, so if everybody, first off, make sure you follow us on social media at Bird and Berg. A lot of the stuff that we have talked about on here were stuff we've put out from our other socials at points too. We mentioned that DeAndre Swift line that was tweeted from our account first, so there's plenty of time to get that if you're following us. I actually talked about Addison's receiving yards today on all socials, and now Adam's working that into the same game. So a lot of these things you can get by following us, so make sure that you do. And if everyone wants to leave us with one word before we sign off, I have one, so I'll kick it off. My word, why the Eagles will win? Prime time. BM?
If I had to have one word, I would say overreaction. I think that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. Overreaction. Berg?
And my one word is cats. We're looking at Bengals and we're looking at Jags.
Cats. Okay. All right. I like it.
Different cats to win this weekend.
All right. Well, hey, thanks guys for tuning in.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry for our technical difficulties, but you guys can listen to it and pretend that it's live and happening. It should be just as good.
And next week we will be back, most likely Wednesday or Thursday, probably lean Thursday. We will let you guys know, like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.